we all know this, that like this is you and then the business is on top of you. You guys all know this, right? Sort of business 101. And I realized like, if you have like serious problems in your personal life, the business does just suffer. And like what Ollie said, which made a lot of sense to me, was like, when you fix all your shit, like business actually is pretty straightforward and easy. Because like it is literally just as straightforward as I broke it down, where it's like traffic, conversions, product, appointment, show rate, sales, conversion rate. It's not a lot to get right. But it's very difficult to get it right when you're like f***ed up. So like if your sleep is bad, if your diet is bad, if you've got all of these little, we'll call them neuroses, where like you're buying a watch or you're like doing all these things, like if you've got any problems here, this is going to be insurmountable in terms of difficulty. So I kind of wanted to just talk about that. Does that resonate with anyone? Yeah. And like the easy way, the easy wins on this front, and the Birkenstocks are coming off for this. The easy ones to win here are your diet, your sleep, your relationships, your habits, your routines, your environment. And I think like if you eat real, because this is the thing, right? I've seen a few of you eating the cakes. I've seen you eating the crisps and the cakes. The thing is like when you eat like that, and you're all fucking guilty of it, right? When you eat shit like that, what happens is like your body has to now deal with it. And what that means is like part of your being and your energy is dedicated to digesting and dealing with this toxic thing you've just eaten. And so when you do that, that's less energy that can go up to your brain to think about the company. Who's had this before where it's 1 p.m. and you eat something big for lunch? Like a bowl of pasta or some pizza or garlic bread or a burger, and then you come back to sit down at work and then you just fall asleep or watch Game of Thrones. That's high inflammation food. Like if you're eating like shit, then your entire body has got to deal with that. And what that means is like it will prioritize dealing with the toxins you consume before it prioritizes the business. Because this is kind of like mission critical. If you give it like a massive Domino's pizza to deal with, like it's not going to care too much about making those cold calls, but getting rid of all the... The other thing is sleep. So, Mark, I think you want to talk about stress management, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, the easiest way that I've found to manage stress is just to sleep for an extra hour. So, like, for example, last night, full day of talking at the mouse one, I slept for 9.5 hours last night. Like, this is going to sound like anti-guru. I haven't had an alarm for about 18 months. And I know that sounds like, oh, but you should be like disciplined and like I let myself sleep for as long as I need to sleep unless I have an urgent engagement in the morning. As long as I'm going to bed at a reasonable time, like 11 p.m., if I wake up at 7 a.m., if I wake up at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., my body's got what it needs. And so this is kind of, the stress management thing is very similar to, this makes sense from like a gym perspective, like recovery. Like if you overtrain in the gym or if you run a marathon, you're going to accept that you probably need to sleep a little bit longer or, give yourself a bit more rest because, your physical body needs it. But everyone forgets that the mind is exactly the same. So, a lot of you guys, like we run these online businesses, you guys are like, thinking machines. You're thinking, you're plotting, you're scheming, you're selling, you're building. It's like, it's very intense on the brain. And so what you want to do with your sleep is, yeah, we all know the blue light blockers and all this shit, right? Let your body sleep for as long as it needs to sleep. Because I can tell you that getting an extra 45 minutes of sleep will make everything you do for the rest of the day twice as effective or as efficient. Like, for example, this morning, I could have woken up this morning at 6 a.m. and gone to the gym and done some affirmations and shit, but then this talk would be way worse. But I let myself sleep for nearly 10 hours last night. And because of that, like my body and my mind just processed the day. I woke up at like 4 in the morning, like answering questions, like no idea what's going on. But that's a big one. Like everyone's so obsessed with this, like you got to have this ruthless discipline with your sleep, and it's like No, just let your body like get what it needs. Because we get it from a physical perspective. If you go to the gym 7 days in a row and push yourself to failure non-stop, you're going to understand intuitively like, oh, I need to let my body rest, so I won't go to the gym today. The same thing is kind of true with work. Like, obviously we've got no mastermind day on Sunday. So on Sunday, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to lie down and probably watch Netflix all day. Because when you polarize yourself to like discipline and this like extreme, like, you know, if for example on Sunday, if I'm like, I've got to read like 100 pages of a book, and then I've got to do a 10K run, it's like that's how you just end up in like hospital, or you end up having to take like a month off or go to like Thailand to reset. You know, we've all been there. The next thing is like
book Why We Sleep is a really good book.
Huh?
Have you read Matthew Walker's book Why We Sleep?
Matthew Walker's book,
Yeah.
Why We Sleep? No.
Yeah, really good book.
Yeah.
It's the foundation, isn't it? If you wake up tired, diet, decisions go out the window.
Everything starts with sleep. Like this is why I don't have an alarm. Like my discipline is going to bed at like 11, and then like my body is like, okay, like we are now recovered enough for you to become conscious again.
Yeah, that was on one of my big goals for ages. Just wake up when your body naturally want to wake up. It's a bit difficult now with kids, but
well, yeah, I don't have that constraint.
Yeah, like that 5 a.m. thing. If you wake up naturally at 5 a.m., you've had enough sleep, then that's brilliant because you do get ahead. But I don't think the trade-off of being tired outweighs being.
Well, it's just worth it, man, because it makes everything like way better. Because you can either work an extra hour or you could sleep an extra hour. But let's say that you're going to do a 10-hour work day. I'd rather work 9 hours with that extra hour of sleep that I needed than work the 10 hours. But this only depends if you need it. So like average normal day, I'll just sleep for like 7.5 or 8 hours. But like a mastermind day, or if I've been like working on the product for like 2 days straight, like flat, sometimes I'll sleep for like 10 hours. And Bo knows this. I'll get up at like 10 a.m. He's like, where the fuck have you been? I'm like, asleep, you know? So, yeah.
How do you balance that? Because like, obviously like there's the example like Elon Musk, obviously very
Yeah, bro, I'm
successful.
not Elon Musk. Everyone brings Elon Musk into these examples, and it's like,
He is an extreme though, isn't he? How many
Yeah, but he gets extreme results.
well, man, there's people that like there's people on the planet that can sleep for like 4 hours. But I'm just more concerned with like the average entrepreneur than what billionaires do. Elon Musk has probably got like a IV into his arm as he's like sleeping, and then something to stimulate REM sleep. I don't know. All I know is that if I sleep more when I need to, I work better. You know? Yeah. It's always Elon Musk. It's like, you know, oh, but Elon Musk does this. It's like, bro, I'm not Elon Musk. Yeah. So the next thing is like your relationship. So once you fix these two, if you get enough sleep, like actually enough sleep, and you eat low inflammation foods, like that alone is enough for you to like probably double your business, because then you can actually think. You know, then suddenly everything gets like really easy.
I'd add that exercise to that, Charlie. I think sleep, exercise, and
Yeah,
diet.
well, movement, yeah, exercise, diet, like. The problem a lot of people have with the gym is like they overdo it because, you know, they're trying to like you see like when an entrepreneur does like a bulk, and it's like, yeah, their body gets bigger, but their income shrinks. No, this is like a thing. Like I get this question. We used to get this on Easy Grow Q&A calls, where like someone would be like, oh, like how do I balance bulking and like sales calls? It's like, it's like basically for every extra calorie you eat in surplus, you're 0.2% less effective or some shit like that. But you know, you can still like bulk and get big and stuff, but like it's a massive sacrifice. I know this because I tried it. Remember that month in Sweden when I ate like 6,000 calories a day? Yeah,
It wasn't pretty.
that was not pretty. It worked, I got bigger, but then I was like, wait, I'm like poor now. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, sorry, anyone got a question? I thought someone had
I was gonna say, what about Hormozy?
Well, this is the thing, you can still like, Hormozy's just better than I am. Like Hormozy built the business whilst building a body. It's just harder. Like you can still do it, it's just really fucking difficult, you know? And it helps if you're on testosterone as well. And he doesn't deny that, so I'm not afraid to say it, right?
Are you still on your meat-only diet?
Carnivore?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not going to recommend anyone eat anything in particular. Because it's not about what you eat, it's about what you don't eat. You know? If you just, it's like, it's kind of weird, like when you actually think about what you can, people don't really become conscious or aware of what they eat. And like when you actually think about, like, let's say for example that you have like one of those like Monster energy drinks.
Yeah.
Like when you actually think about what you're consuming, it's like, what the hell am I doing? You ever had this before where you're like scrolling through short form content and then you just catch yourself and you're like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what did I just watch? You know, then you scroll back up and you're like, holy shit. Like all of these behaviors are just like, we just sort of execute on them without any awareness. And so the first step is awareness, basically. So the relationships are another huge one as well. Like, I'm not going to tell you guys who you should and shouldn't be friends with or who you should and shouldn't love, but like this is going to have a huge impact on your life. Like, you know, like the people, I have got friends who I used to have friends from like back home, and like every time I'd see them, they're like, do you want to do some cocaine? I'm like, no, I don't. They're like, oh, but mate, it's really good. I'm like, you've got nothing to lose. Like, you know, yeah, poor example. But you know what I mean? Like these people that you hang around, like if any of you have like bad friends or like people that you sort of cling on to because you were friends with them like 10 years ago, like they're just going to drag you down and pull you down. Another huge one as well, big one, is drama. So, you know, drama is, you know, we all kind of know what the word means, but this comes from like for example, who watched the YouTuber boxing last night? So, okay, good example. But like, this is the thing, is like, there's that Mr. Beast conspiracy. And like, people were watching it and then talking about it. And then it's like, why do any of us care? But it's so like socially seductive and you just want to like know what's going on. It's like people who watch the news. It's just this like, all you're doing is just watching like interrelationship chaos. And then what that does is then you start to talk about it. Like we've had this before on team meetings where like we'll be discussing like items and then someone will bring up like Andrew Tate's arrest. And then suddenly the entire team is talking about it for like 45 minutes. And I'm like, why did we do that? Like it doesn't make sense.
How do you manage that with a team if the culture gets a bit cancerous? I'm not sure if you've had that.
Well, this is the thing, is it's just awareness. It's like, I was like, why on earth are we talking? I don't think it was specifically Andrew Tate's arrest, but we've had it before where we just end up like talking about like a competitor and like, well, this person did this and did you see this?
And the drama kicks in.
Yeah, and this thing just consumes your attention. And then suddenly like running a business is dramatic enough. I think we can all agree on that. And so if you come home to drama and chaos, it's just like, it's like people that argue all the time. Like arguing can be healthy, but like, you know, you need some space for your brain at home to not be in chaos. Habits as well. Like, you know, good habits, bad habits. I think the kind of habit topic has been talked about pretty extensively online, so I won't get into it too much. But then routine. Who here has a routine?
Should I share?
Yeah?
Yeah, it fits with my personality, but what I realized is I have to have a flexible routine. So I have these gaps in my diary. I call it me time for when my routine goes to, because it does most days. But I have things that are non-negotiable, like what time I go to bed, amount of water I drink, and workouts.
Does everyone have it like scheduled out in their calendar and stuff?
I went through this phase of trying to do this, and I just realized like it's like what Hormozy says. Like I just like to get up, get a coffee, get to work, and if I feel myself starting to lose my focus, I'll take lunch for an hour, walk my dog if I need to. I just listen to my body as the day goes. Then I decide on what. When I try to do these false things, like at 1 p.m. I must do this, and it was just I just hated it. It was horrible.
I'm the same. I'm the same. I mean, I can tell you guys what I do. So, like, I usually wake up at like probably on an average of like 8 a.m. I wake up, and then by 8:15 I'm working, and then at 1 it's lunch, and then at like 1:30 it's the gym, because after like this much program recording, like my brain just switches off. And then usually at like 1500 it's back to work. And then at usually about 19:30 it's a barbecue with Bo, where we talk about the day. And then usually at like 20:30 it's chill. And then at like 2300 I sleep. So like, who has like all these crazy things they do before they work? Any of you do like some crazy shit before you work?
I used to, because I watched easy grow, and then I had this whole kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I realized the months that I made like the most progress, I wasn't really necessarily like, I just still don't know if it was because of that I made the progress or not. But at the moment, I don't do it anymore. Like I used to have the whole self-transcendence thing.
Well, the
I'd go
mindset
through it.
document is appropriate and necessary to do first thing if you've still got like crippling self-doubt. Because if you don't do that, then what happens is you start working and then you're like, oh, and then you stop working because you're like, you just like freak out. You're like, this isn't possible. There's no point. But like when you get to like 7 figures, multi-7 figures, like you don't need to like scream that you love yourself in the mirror all the time.
Yeah.
You know, because you're already like, oh yeah, I'm kind of there. But yeah, the main thing is this. Like this is literally what I do like 6 days a week, and there's nothing else to it.
How religiously do you follow it?
How religiously?
Yeah.
Well, like the only thing that I keep on lock no matter what is the time I go to bed. Unless it's like unless there's some extraneous variable, you know, like like family members in Australia and I've got to call them. What's that about?
Halloween party.
Halloween party. Anyone else heard about this Halloween party? Thanks for that, mate.
Yeah, everyone wants to know.
Well,
I'll
But-
do that tomorrow.
Bo and I attended a Halloween party and drank some whiskey and didn't go to bed at 11 p.m. Let's put it that way. It was a great time. Anyway,
Did you have a couple's costume?
well, no, Bo went as Henry VIII. I went as Caesar. It was great. Anyway,
Charlie,
this fucking drama thing, man, like it comes out and it gets you. It does. It gets you before you know it.
so you apparently like read a lot, right? So where does that time go?
So I read here.
Okay.
So
So
I'll
you do
read
that,
for,
but
like-
it's not necessarily like in the routine, but does it happen routinely?
Yeah, it's like I'm at the point where like it depends on like how fucked my brain is from the day. So like if it's the case where I'm like if it's been like a full day of like program recording and I've made like 2 YouTube videos and I've recorded ads and I'm like on Mondays we have like 6 meetings back to back and if it's that and I'm like exhausted then I'll just watch like Netflix for like a couple of hours. But that's like intentional Netflix. I'm not like on my phone texting at the same time. It's just like the one thing.
Right.
But usually I'll just like read for like 2.5 hours.
Okay.
This evening. And then
yeah.
But
What
you
about
need
like
that.
meditation? Like I think from your older videos,
Yeah, I
I
used
remember
to
you.
meditate every morning, but then I found that like reading's kind of the same thing
Okay.
because like when you read, it's like you're focused, you're attentive, and then your mind goes and you bring it back, and then it's kind of the same thing but just in a different form. And like once you get to the point where the majority of your behavior is single-minded, insofar as the fact that you can just watch a full 3-hour Quentin Tarantino movie without checking your phone, you're pretty much the gains you're going to get from meditation are going to be marginal in contrast to the time you spend on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you can really focus for 3 hours on one thing without getting distracted at all, then the meditation thing probably still beneficial to do it, but I just don't bother because I'd rather just get straight to work.
Right. But
I
you
can
don't think
sit
like
down-
it's like dependent on the activity too? Like some activities you are super dialed in, zoned in, compared to some other activities where you would still want to meditate to like train on that, like for focusing purposes?
Well, focus isn't a skill, it's a way of life.
Okay.
So like, it's kind of like how you do one thing's how you do everything. So like, you know, I'm as far as the fact that like, if I'm eating, I try my very best to not do anything whilst I'm eating. Or if I'm on a meeting, I try my best to close Slack and everything. Or if I'm like doing the mastermind, my phone's on airplane mode or whatever. If I'm talking to someone, I'm just talking to them. If I'm watching a movie, I'm just watching the movie. The other thing I do as well is like if I'm watching like a Netflix series, I'm only ever watching one series at a time. So I'm not trying to like juggle like 3 different series, it's just one thing. And then I finish it and then it's the next thing. If I'm listening to a song, I try and finish the song. It's like all of these, like what you're trying to do is like all these things that you do, like for example, reading, I read 1 book at a time. It's like everything you do, just singular minded focus, one thing, pick it well, finish it, and then move on to the next thing. If I get halfway through a movie and I won't finish it. If I get 20 pages into a book and it doesn't make any sense, I won't finish it. So it's not like a hard jammed rule, but like you want to try and get that like singular minded focus everywhere. The other thing as well is like whenever you get the chance, let your mind decompress. So what that means is if you're in a taxi for 10 minutes, stop it. Like just look out the window and just let your brain just process all this. Depends on your state of mind. But like, for example, last night I went home and like I was like racing. I just like laid on my bed and stared at the ceiling for like an hour. Which I know sounds weird, but like after doing that in like a dark room, it's like stimulation from work is like eating a massive meal. Like you need to digest it.
Yeah.
And if you're on your phone or watching a movie or talking to loads of people or doing all these, listening to music and stimulating yourself, your brain, it's like this, it's like stimulation overload. Like it's pouring in and your brain, you just can't process it. And that's how then you wake up on like Monday and you're just burned out.
Yeah.
So like instead of like having these like 3-4 day windows where you have to vegetate and do nothing because you're so burned out, you want to integrate it into your day-to-day. So like, for example, if I'm reading, I'm not listening to like music or anything whilst I'm doing it. If I've got a sports massage, I'm not on my phone. It's like, whenever you can, just let your brain just process and just, you know, it's why I'm not coming up to lunch with you guys. I'm just gonna sit in here and just eat some steaks that I cooked earlier. Because it's just like, whenever you can, just let your brain process and then you're like good to go again.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise you just end up having to go to like a retreat for like 10 days.
Yeah, I found myself like even I started getting this habit when I was in the shower, listening to music, and it's like, why have I got to listen to music in the shower? Like just
well, stimulation's very. It's like a flywheel. You just want to stay stimulated, I watched this video a while ago of this guy interviewing people in the street, and the question was like, is there anything scarier than being alone with your own thoughts? And these people were like, no. And it's like, geez, like what the hell? Well, this is these people that buy these low-ticket courses, you know, like with the yachts and stuff. But yeah, music in the shower is just one like that's. You've got 10 minutes to just decompress and de-stimulate and just relax and be calm. And if you're in that state, you're going to make better decisions. You're going to be less prone to burnout. The other thing that burns you out is like switching between tasks. So if you're sort of like half in a meeting, but you're also half in a conversation on WhatsApp, but also your email's open and Facebook's open, and then you've also got a podcast and the radio's on. And what your brain's trying to do is this is why a computer overheats, is you can't do two things at once. Like if I've got like 4 tabs open on my computer, what the computer's doing is running them all simultaneously, but one at a time. And that's the same way your brain works. And so every time your brain has to switch between a task, it slightly exhausts your brain's capacity for that. You have like RAM, like allocated memory to switching. And every time you switch, you get more tired. It's more tiring to switch tasks than it is to do a task, because then you have to like reset new conditions and stuff.
do you have anything like on your onboarding for team members to tell them about this kind of stuff? So when they start working with you and you've got, for example, Nor's a new starter and he's in a meeting with you, he knows, okay, I shouldn't be checking my emails at the same time.
No, because it's one of those things where like we just kind of lead by example, and then like if it becomes a problem, then I'll just tell them. Because like I want to just, it's almost like I want you to just do your thing, perform, and I will course correct accordingly. Because if you bias them to like this weird discipline thing, before you know it, Nor's doing an Ironman. And then he's not working, you know? It's like, you want to let people like, let their behavior emerge, and then if there's potential to sculpt them, then you do it accordingly. You give them little bits of feedback, otherwise it's just overload.
Yeah, one of a bit of a weird thing that I find, that I struggle to watch a really good movie or a really good Netflix series, even in my downtime, because I find that my brain doesn't know it's a movie. And so I'll be in the shower and I'll be thinking, replaying the movie scene where the guy got shot, and I just feel like it's wasted time because my brain could be focusing on the actual problems.
Yeah, but this is the thing, man, like there's a line to this where like you can't be in constant work mode.
Yeah. Okay.
This is why like I'll only ever watch like one series at a time. Because like the problem is with a series is like you start trying to problem solve for the characters, and like your part of your RAM is dedicated to like these. But you're gonna get that no matter you watch a series or read a book or anything. So that's just unavoidable. You can't just finish work and then just sit in a chair and stare at a wall like, you know, like Patrick Bateman kind of.
Yeah. Do you think your routine would look differently if you had a girlfriend or a wife? Except
Probably.
for both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'd probably just see her like here.
Yeah.
3:05 to 3:10.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I just schedule a call with her.
Yeah, because that's a thing I find sometimes quite difficult to like balance that. because you want your alone time decompress on the weekends, but then you have to do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't have that problem at the moment, obviously. But like when I do, I'm just like, if I'm dating someone, like I'm just like, look, work comes first. And like, I'm not doing that to be like a dick. I'm just saying like, if you try to interfere with work, I'm going to resent you, and this is not going to work. And so I need someone that has like their own life, but they can go and do things, and then like on Sundays we do dinner or something.
Yeah.
You know, like as long, if you set the expectation from the get-go and you sort of say to them, look, I like you, blah blah blah, you're great, but work's better. Maybe not specifically, don't word it like that. I've lost my sales touch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be like, you can come and read with me if you don't talk to me. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I get
It would be less regimented. You know, you'd integrate it like you go to the gym with them, or they'd eat with you, and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, what the do I know? I'm guessing. Yeah, man.
So two things. Quite interesting. You said wake up at 8 and get to work by 8:15. So, do you know how does? Are you used to that? Do you sort of, in terms of prioritizing, is there a certain thing you prioritize in the first half of the day, or do you know how do you sort of
So what
switch on to?
Yeah, no, I get
Not
it.
that early.
So before, when I finish work, so before Bo and I have our daily barbecue, what I'll do is I'll plan what I'm going to do tomorrow. So like I'll sort of look at like the goal and the vision, and then like I'm usually just working on like one thing for like 3 months at a time. And then I'll have on my wall map or like on a calendar, like a to-do list in order of priority. Usually the thing at the top of the list is the thing that is the most cognitively demanding. So it's why I've done the mindset thing to this morning and not this afternoon, because like I'm going to be more available to do it now, right? Got more calories in the bank. So yeah, you plan the day before, and then I wake up, get in the shower, brush my teeth, walk downstairs, and then I start work. And then like I'll work on usually that one thing for like, it's usually about like 5 hours. And that is just that. And like, there's some days, depending on what I'm working on, where I won't check WhatsApp, I won't check Slack, I won't check anything. I'll check those things usually when I get back from the gym or just after lunch. Because if you check anything in this time frame, you're just asking for trouble. And this is the other good thing about Dubai, is by the time that I'm having lunch, my team's just starting their day. So then I've got this time zone benefit of, then the questions start coming in and the fires start, burning. But you said you had a second question?
Just the fact of how do you switch on that quickly? I don't know how many of us here really start working within 15 minutes of waking up. That'd be interesting to sort of understand.
Well, bear in mind that I'm waking up when my body wants to wake up.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not in any way, shape or form sleep deprived. And I'm not like, when you wake up to an alarm and you're sort of still in REM sleep mode, and then you've got this massive cortisol spike, and then you're like, what the fuck? Like you're confused. You've got no idea what's going on. Like working just after that is tough. But when you go to sleep at like a really reasonable time and you let yourself sleep for as long as your body needs to, getting up, drinking like a liter of water, popping in like a cold shower, and then just going to work is pretty easy. Yeah, David?
Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, I wake up at 4 and I get to the computer by 4:15.
Jeez.
And then, because it's a time zone thing, because 4 to 8, nobody's looking for me. And I can't turn off, customers and things like that. So 4 to 8, and then I start with the absolute hardest thing that I have on my plate. And I start working on it before I'm even awake enough to realize how much it sucks. And then after working on it for half an hour, it's like, oh, this doesn't suck that bad.
Yeah, it's always weird how that works. Like the thing that you don't want to do, it's only the first 5 minutes of it suck, and then like you become numb to the pain.
Yeah.
It's like the anticipation of it is worse than actually doing it. Yeah, man?
How do you manage communication, like in and outside of the business? Because I feel like when I wake up, when I'm first coming into work, it's the same with the time zone thing. Like by the time I wake up here, most people are in North America, like people that work for us. So I feel like I'm just kind of waking up to like all these arrows of communication coming at me. Once I resolve work, I feel like I get a lot of that from like personal relationships where it's like, why aren't you communicating? And I'm naturally
Why don't you love me?
yeah, we're like naturally a pretty I enjoy being isolated. I don't like talking too much and
Yeah. Well, I mean, like all of my personal communication is done through WhatsApp, and I talk to my family and my close friends, and that's it. And they all know what I'm like. So they all know that if they message me during these hours, that I'm not going to be available. But then like also like, you know, all my family have like Bo's number. So like if something bad happened, I'd know about it. So it's like, I don't really manage communication. I just don't check it when the rule is if you're working on something, all the communication channels are closed unless you need them to do the work. Because all communication is a transfer of information to execute on a task. Once you've got the information, you close the window. If you need more, you reopen it, you go in, you find the information, you close it, you come back. Like anyone that works with their phone on their desk is just going to be poor. Like poorer than they would be if they actually had their phone away. Like I know, like when someone's on like a coaching call, like Easy Grow, and they share their screen, and it's like, what's going on here? Like you've got like your emails open with like 50,000 unread emails. And then you've got like a Facebook group tab open, and then you've also got like Slack open, and we've got something else over here, and you know now ad blockers asking you to pay $10 because you owe them money, and it's just like a notification is a package of information that serves as a distraction away from the thing that you're working on. Like my phone, the only thing that can distract me on my phone is WhatsApp, and the notifications are turned off. So if my sister messages me saying, "Oh, I'm having a bad day," I don't know about it until like, 6 p.m. And that's not for lack of me being a bad person. It's just that like, what can I possibly do? Like,
it's just tough to explain sometimes that like I don't care.
well, no, it's not that you don't care. It's just that you care more about something else.
Well, yeah, like a lot of it's just a lot.
Well, but you have to, man. It's like, look, you can either be this socialite that's constantly on call to please people, and that can be your life, or you can be this like sort of focused entrepreneur, or you can try and do both and suck at both.
Yeah, it just feels like the drama starts to kind of kick in when you let like all the drama stuff that you're talking about, where it's just like stuff I don't like want to.
If someone starts texting me drama, I just archive them.
But it's like, what if it's like family or your girlfriend?
Well,
It's
then
not
you
really
deal with
drama.
it, man,
It's like
because
she's updating you on something, but you're just like, I had a long day. I don't care.
Well, like this is the thing.
This is going to be on YouTube, by the way. Just.
But this is the thing. Like, even when touch wood, I have a girlfriend, I'll just set the expectation of being like, look, babe, I love you and everything, but like I'm not available during these hours unless it's mission critical. But no, but this is. But otherwise, how can you do anything?
Yeah,
Like, you're just gonna be in this constant. And then the thing is with like, for example, I don't sleep with my phone in my room. Like rule of thumb, my phone is always like on the top of the stairs outside my room, because like I know that if my phone's in my room, then if I wake up at 4 a.m. to go to the bathroom and I'm like, better just see what's on WhatsApp quickly, and then like, you're just like you open this like bright thing and then it's done. Like just. If the people care for you and love you enough, they should understand what you're like. And I don't have any problems with this ever. Like if a family member messages me, they know like, oh, Charlie's probably working. He'll reply this evening or he'll reply at lunchtime. And then if they're like, oh, I like my family or my friends have never called me out for not replying fast enough. And if I made a friend that did, they wouldn't be my friend anymore. They're like, oh, why didn't you reply to me? It's like, what? What, you're 15? Yeah, you kind of have to just be ruthless with it. But then if like my mum was in hospital and I was waiting for a call, I'm not going to be like, nope. I'm going to have my phone on my desk. And it's not this binary rule, but for the most part,
What are your thoughts on working more than 10 hours a day?
Working more than 10 hours a day?
Yeah.
I'll do it if it's necessary. Like the way that your thing works is, imagine you've got like a bar like this, and this is like a day, and you can either put in 100% effort or 0% effort, right? And this is like your day. What I will try and do is I will get to like the 75% effort, Because what you're looking to do with your energy and your workload is you're looking to find something that you can sustain for 60 years. Right? So for example, ever since I started doing this, because I was here every day for like 2 years. And then I got like really skinny and started like getting sick all the time, and it just didn't end well for me. As soon as I started, I've been doing this now for about 9 months, and I haven't properly burned out once. There's been the odd day off needed here and there, but you always want to have like something in reserve in case there's an emergency. So like if for example, like this last month, I've got the mastermind coming up. I needed to get like ahead like 6 YouTube videos. The sales team's down in the dumps. Some other emergencies are happening. I've been operating in my reserves this month, right? Which means that next month, coming up to December, I'm probably just going to bring my days back to like here. If you jam yourself here all the time, you're just going to get sick. Your body will force you to take time off. What a lot of people do, and what I used to do, is you go even further, where you start borrowing tomorrow's reserves. And then that's how you burn out real quick. Now that we're at this point where we're starting to get some level of clout, I've got direct lines to these people, the people that I've always looked up to, and I can tell you that they don't operate here constantly.
But when to get to where they did, at what point did they start to do that, right? Is it at
Well, it's like you do this for like a couple of years, and then you just realize like this isn't sustainable. And then like you kind of calm down and just like, I did this for like 3 years. I paid for it, man. I would have made more progress if every day I just clocked out with a bit left in the tank. And because it's just about consistency. It's just about, because like this is why people miss YouTube uploads, for example. It's, you know, they'll go real hard on the content with the dudes, and they're on the boat with the guys, and it's like, you know, and then this is the thing is they'll go hard, and then like they need like 3 months off. They won't upload for 3 months. Like the business thing is just about showing up every day, because once you have a team and a channel and a brand, you've got to be consistent for other people. You've got to be consistent for your subscribers. You've got to keep your cash flows consistent. You've got to keep your ads consistent. Like if you're here all the time and something bad happens, you haven't got the capacity to deal with it. So this is why, like I could, if I wanted to, start work at 8:15 and finish work at like 9 p.m. and work like 13 hours a day. I could do that for like 3 months. But then after that point, I'm going to need to, go on holiday for like 3 weeks. And then if there's a fire, I'm done. It's over, because my adrenal glands and my cortisol is so screwed. Like my stress hormones are so bad that if something stressful happens, I'm just like, nah, I'll deal with it when I'm back. And then this is why people have these massive inconsistencies and these fluctuations where they'll go on this content rampage and then they'll upload nothing. Or they'll get to 50K a month and then they get back to 5K a month. It's because you enter burnout territory. And it's a tool. You need to be able to go there from time to time. Like, for example, if I know like that I've got a 10-day holiday with my family coming up in a month, then I'll give myself permission to go full send for like 3 weeks. Because I know that then I've got the 10 days to, chill out and relax. But if you're here all the time, like, you just get like sick all the time. I had this where like, you saw me where I was just like, this was kind of like start of Dubai move. Like I was just constantly ill. I had like the flu, then I get like some infected cut on my finger, then I get tonsillitis, and I was like, why is this happening? And then I just started like sleeping as long as I wanted to, eating clean, and like working at a level that was more reasonable. Like, for example, on Monday, so I've got mastermind today, and then we'll have Sunday off, and then I've got Monday. And on Monday, my meetings start at 3 p.m. and finish at 8 p.m. I probably won't do anything at the beginning of Monday, because I know that I'm probably over here for the next like day or two, which means that, for a few days next week, I'm just going to have to be a little bit more chill. Day before the mastermind, I did nothing, because I knew like, okay, I need to build these reserves. And when you start playing around with it like that, you can maintain this just consistency, as opposed to just like, it's just literally like, if you're here, it's like trying to sprint a marathon. Like you're just, yeah.
I have a question about burnout.
About burnout?
Yeah, because I think I have a low tolerance to burnout, since last mastermind, it's been 4 months and I've been able to make 4 3-hour-long modules for my course. So
How many modules?
4 3-hour-long videos, you know.
So it's
And
been 4 months and you've made a video a month.
yeah,
Okay.
there are like easy growth modules.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
First time I made them, and I feel like I work from 8 to 10, and I'm done. I think I cannot. I don't know what to do. You know, it's like I've been working for 10 hours, and I think it's the first time that I've been really focused on something, because when you're on sales calls or you're just maintaining the business, you don't really focus.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to improve it. You know.
How to improve it?
Yeah, how to work more time or how to focus more time.
Just like chill. Like if you're, this is the thing about like single-minded focused activities is they aren't as, it depends on what you're working on, because like program recording burns me out heavily if I've got to do other stuff at the same time, if that makes sense. But like if you're working, you have found a sustainable work ethic. You can probably maintain this for a very long time. So what you want to do is like push yourself more and try and work more and find the point where you start to think like, okay, I'm starting to burn out, and then just bring it back to the point that you know you can work at. Like I know that I can do this with effective energy management forever. Like, you know, I start work at 8:15, finish work at usually about like, I usually start work at 8 and I usually finish work at 8, but it depends on like what meetings are doing and stuff. So there's 12 hours. I'm usually in the gym and I'm having lunch for like 2, so it is like 10 hours. I could push it to 12, but
let's say you just start working at 8 on a new model. For example, the offer module. You work from 8 to 1 p.m. straight, and you don't distract anything.
Nothing. It's just me and the computer.
Wow. And how did you manage to do it? I mean, when you started, you
Well, you just okay. So like, you mean like how to do deep work?
Yeah.
Well, you just remove everything that isn't the work, and then like what will happen is you'll do it, and then like after like 10 minutes you'll be like, I'm tired. But then just don't listen to it. Like deep work is a skill that you practice. Like, I've been doing program recording now for like 4 years, so that I can wake up, I can walk to my desk, I can open a Google Doc or my whiteboards, and I can just stay in that zone for like 5 hours. But that's why then after that I have to just do the like 2 hours of sort of like I'll go to the gym and I'll go for a walk or I'll have lunch or you know.
And how do you identify when your mind is just playing with you or you're burnout?
It's really simple. Well, this is the thing. Like burnout, it happens on a physical level. So if you think you're tired, are you actually? Like what I mean by that is it's like burnout will manifest in your body. So burnout is when like it gets to like 12 p.m. and you just want to lie down, or you know it's when like you're trying to sleep and you're just racing. Like you just need to try it, and then you'll burn out, and then you'll find out, okay, well if I do that, then I burn out. It's a very personal thing. But the main thing with the deep work in the morning is it's just like Charlie Munger calls this assiduity, which is basically just sit on your ass until you do it. Which is kind of what I do. Like I'm like, oh, I've got to do this. I've got to plan like 4 YouTube videos. It's on the to-do list. I don't want to do it. Okay, I'll sit down, and then there's nothing to distract me. There's no phone. There's no Slack. There's no email. There's no YouTube thing. There's nothing, and it's just me and a Google Doc, and I'll just sit there and stare at it and be like, fine, you know. And then before you know it, you've done it. But if you've got all these other things where you can go to, you'll do it. You'll start cleaning your bedroom or something as opposed to doing the thing. Or like shadow boxing or something.
But if you're making a long module, you put like small little goals that you want to reach.
If I'm making like a long module, it's not, you can't goal base content because you don't know where it's going to go. So like I'll just like, for example, for the last month, I've been working on week 2 of the academy.
All right.
And I've been, for these 4 or 5 hours a day, it's just been planning and thinking. So it's like, it's not even like, there's nothing tangible coming of it. It's driving me insane. But it's like, okay, well, what is reality? Oh, well, let's think about that for 3 weeks, you know? And then eventually you get to like some conclusion. You're like, okay, something I can put on a Google Doc. Yeah.
Sorry, regarding program recording, like, was it a conscious choice to like not show face in just the Google Doc?
Yeah, so the reason that I don't show my face on the recordings is because it's just a distraction.
Okay.
Like not only for them, but for me recording it. Because like doing like a 3.5 hour recording, like and just seeing yourself in the corner, like it's just, you're gonna end up like glancing at yourself.
It's also timeless.
Huh?
Timeless.
Timeless as well. Yeah, because I'm gonna change and it's gonna look different and stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah, good point. And then the other one that I put down here is your environment, which is like your environment by definition at first principle is just everything that you come into contact with aggregated into this one term. So like you kind of want to do an audit of everything you have in your home space and your workspace, where you exercise, blah, blah, blah. Because if there's something in your environment, like it will get you. But this is the thing, like if you've got like, I had this when I tried to quit like playing Xbox. So I put my Xbox in the bath and I just like ran water into it so it would like, it wouldn't work anymore. Because when you make like a, it's a true story, that's how I can tell you. When you make like a decision like that and you make it so extreme, like first of all, you tie off the identity problem, but second of all, like it's not there anymore. You can't play it. You know, it's also why like I don't go to the supermarket. Like I'll order food. Because like if I go to the supermarket and I've been in like burnout territory and I'm a bit hungry, I'm gonna buy some food and then I'm gonna eat it. You know, like if I went to the supermarket, I'd have to wear like a blindfold or something. You know? So like same thing like with your office. The big one's just like the phone. Like is it just there? It's gonna get you. Yeah, man?
Charlie, what do you think caused the transition that you and Sam took from like absolute peak efficiency to like Sam's got lost in effort?
Well, this is the thing is you just try it.
Yeah.
Like if you do it, you realize that it's not true. Like all these guys that I look up to or looked up to or still kind of do, all the guys that preach hardcore discipline, that's not what they do. It's not. And I know it's not because I've spoken to them all. All those influencers and the guys, like even when they preached it, I used to preach this like heavy extreme discipline thing, but then I'd be making a mindset module like just after having gone on like a 2-week junk food binge because I'd been so burned out. It's like, you know, I just try it for like 2 years and then your hairline will recede and you'll be like, oh, like I should probably not do that anymore, you know? But this makes way more sense because like it's, the reason that people go to this really deep end of productivity is because they want to get where they want to go really quick. And so like, I'm kind of the opinion that stress only really exists in business when you apply a time frame to an outcome. Because the stress comes when you're not where you want to be by the time in which you thought you would be there. And so like, when you're like, I want to get to 100K a month by March, like you need to have a time frame on it because otherwise you're just not going to work. But the way you do it is you work, you set no deadline, but you work every day as if the deadline is tomorrow. Because if you're like, if you're expecting to be at 40K a month by April next year, and then you're not there, then you're gonna get stressed. But if you're just like, I need to work every day as hard as I can, I'll let the universe decide when I deserve it. Which I know sounds like woo-wah and all this shit, but it works.
Yeah. I guess the thing is like, I don't mind stress. Like, in fact, like I'm good with it because then I just work more, but it's like, how do you feel like you're not being like out-competed if you're like taking time?
Well, it's like, I mean, I don't mind stress. Stress is fine. Stress is healthy. Stress is good. You need stress. Because if you don't want any stress, you just go and sit on a mountain and then eat potatoes for the rest of your life, like a monk. I don't know if they actually eat potatoes or not. But it's like, I've just tried it. Like, you know, maybe someone can outcompete me by working more, but like, I don't, like the body has a limit. Like we're all creatures of biology and we all have like a hard limit to what we can, to the amount of stress we can tolerate. And I think what happens is like the more you work, the higher your threshold becomes for stress and burnout and stuff, which might be why Elon Musk can work 100 hours a week, you know, without burning out. I don't know. But.
What like David Goggins?
Huh? David Goggins. I don't know.
He's at like 200% every day.
Huh?
He's at like 200% of the
I don't know what David Goggins is on. There's going to be exceptions to this. Like there's going to be like a person that can like work like they can work non-stop and not burn out. But like, I've never found one. Like, this is the thing about like David Goggins and people like that is you see what they want you to see. Like, how do you know that it's true? Like, yeah, okay, 200 kilometer, like, ultra marathon, you're hard, you're a weapon, right? But like, you hold the pull-up record, all this stuff, like, yes, great, fantastic. But like, you don't know him. You just know what the part of him that he wants you to see. So for all we know, and it's probably not true, but for all we know, David Goggins could do nothing for 12 hours a day and then just hop on a podcast and then say that he does. What other evidence do we have otherwise? It's probably unlikely, but like Elon Musk is like top 20 on Diablo, for example. Top 4? Well, like you don't know, man. Like this is the thing with like the Goggins and the Elon Musk thing and the discipline thing is you project what you want to be onto them, and then you cling on to their identity as if it's your own, and then you try and achieve this standard that they've set that just isn't simply achievable because it's just this one, like the online space is just one big discipline virtue signal. Everyone wants everyone to think that they're disciplined. And so what happens is you get this weird bias of everyone trying to behave like everybody else when no one actually behaves like that. We show people what we want them to see. And so when you try and hold yourself to the same standard as a person who isn't actually that disciplined, you end up in this place, which I was at, and then you're done. Then you just burn out. And then you feel bad for burning out because you're not keeping up, which means you go even harder and harder, and then you cycle this thing around, and then you end up in hospital. Like this nearly happened to me when I was like 19 when I first started. Like I nearly hospitalized myself with stress. And then I didn't learn my lesson and tried to do it again. Because I was like, no, there must be like some discipline. Like I've just got to like compartmentalize it. Doesn't work. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm coping, but I've made more money like that. So like, oh yeah, I'm going to do like 100, I'm going to do 20 sales calls a day and win. It's like, yeah, you'll do that for like 2 weeks. Then you'll get then you'll get pneumonia and lose your voice, and then you won't be able to sell for like 3 months. Tavia?
I saw on a video once you saying like if you could speak to your younger self, you would tell yourself to have more like fun. I don't know if you remember. What did you mean by that, and like how, in what sense?
More fun? Or like in the sense that have a life outside of work. It's very. Well, this is the thing is it's very sort of like. There's a big duality here because I'm like routine work, but then I'm like Halloween party. No, like what I mean by that is it's like every now and then, every couple of months, I'll just get like f***ed up and drunk. Not because I'm like, like I need to like be drunk. It's just because it's like for example, like New Year's. I'm going to like Budapest with loads of friends. And it's gonna be like a big messy weekend. And then like it'll be like, oh, like I'll get hungover and all that. And then like I'll just get back to work. All these guys, the big guys that I've spoken to, they have that trait about them. They're not these like, round up like guys that are just like, oh, I've got to work all this. It's not like that. Because this creates stress and this creates tension. And you have to have a way to sort of every now and then allow yourself to, just have some fun. And you don't have to get like up. Maybe it's just you go like traveling for like a long weekend or something, But that's just me. Maybe that's not necessary for everyone. But I found that when I started allowing myself to like do that without feeling guilty about it, I just became way more productive. Not like I'm getting absolutely slaughtered every weekend. It's just like, if there's a party and loads of my friends are going, I'll be like, yeah, I'll do it. Is it going to cost the business? Yeah, probably. But at the same time, like, it's my friends and a party. Like, it's every now and then. Do you know what I mean? It's not like if it becomes a habit, then it's bad. Yeah. Like, you guys wait till the end of this mastermind. Those drinks, like...
we're having this thought that there are people mostly in our country or in our market, like making more money than us, working less, having worse products. We said like they only upload IG stories. They don't have any products. Only do one call a week with their clients, and that's it. And they show off some Rolexes or let's say cars. I don't know. And we have like this shiny object. We see these people making 1 million a month, 2 million a month. We say, I mean, why? Why are we doing this? And if they are making more money, it's easier.
Well, I would offer you the quote from Benjamin Graham, who was Warren Buffett's mentor, that said that in the short term, the market is a voting machine, which means that it votes on what's popular. But in the long term, it's a weighing machine, which means it weighs what's valuable. So we have businesses that want to be weighed. So like this is why with this, what's popular right now is this lifestyle trend. It's not something that lasts. Like it's just popular. Your vote, it's like a voting thing. But in the long term, like I don't care about being beaten now. I just map my trajectory against their trajectory over a 10-year time horizon. So like, this is why, for example, with the academy, like it's going to take me like another 6 months to build it. And in that time, people are going to be like doing marketing, and they're going to be like buying these houses and making these videos and making themselves all popular and growing their followings. And I'm just there like, I'll launch this thing, and then like in like 3 years, I'll overtake them. And that's what we did with Imperium at the beginning, is we got out-competed for the first like 2 years. And then we launched Easy Grow, because I built it for like 9 months. And then after that, it was like, it's game over. So like people are going to make more money than you, but if you're worried about that, just think about the time horizon. So if they're making more money than you now, will they be making more money than you in 10 years? Like Amazon lost money every year for the first like 15 years in business. And then you've got like all these other e-commerce platforms, but Jeff was just like, let's see where they stand in like 20 years.
Do you ever have those thoughts when watching E-Man or people like that?
No, because I understand it. Just look at the product. Like if you're worried about a competitor, do not look at how much money they make or what their personal brand is, just look at the quality of their product. And if your product is better than theirs, rest assured that with a 5 to 10 year time horizon, maybe not even that long, you will win. Because everything else is just a mirage. In the long term, the market sees through all the bull. And it's already starting to happen for lots of people. I think we've done recovery quite well. The only other thing with recovery is your central nervous system, which is literally, once again, just letting your brain process and then like sleeping properly. Ego, kind of covered that. Any questions on that thing?
One question on recovery.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys go on vacation, like, do you go separate times and one of you keep the business alive and you just
pretty much
log out? Yeah.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Sometimes we'll go together, but if we go together, it's just checking Slack and stuff. But we're at the point now where like if we went on holiday together, we did this experiment in Barcelona this year where we were like, we're gonna delete Slack, which was like a big deal. And we were like, we told Brunker and Nora and Salway, like if there's an emergency or anything, just message us. And then that way we just had WhatsApp.
And then you take just Sundays off work?
No, so I will take Sundays like religiously no work. Like I won't check anything unless it's like mission critical as per. And then I will usually take Saturday afternoons off as well from like 3 p.m. So I've got my Saturday to-do list. And once that's done, which it could take 3 hours, it could take 7 hours, you know, when that's done, then I start chilling. Tax, who asked about tax mindset?
Just like I'm thinking a lot about it because in France we have like heavy tax, but I just bought a house.
Well, I think what happened with our Dubai move is our needs changed. So when we moved to Dubai, we thought it was a good idea. And then we moved to Dubai and made a ton of money. And then we were like, we don't need money anymore, so let's move out of Dubai. Like you've got all this money in the account, but like because there's no tax barrier, it's basically personal money. And what that means is you're less likely to spend it on ads, you're less likely to spend it on testing, you're less likely to make risky hires. It makes that, like the great thing about paying tax or having a company in a place with a tax regime is it puts this Chinese wall between your ego and the money in the company. And so what that means is like it becomes less about like that money's mine. Like as soon as we moved here, Bo and I concerned ourselves way more with profit than actual growth, which might sound like a good thing, but it's like we were just like these little squirrels, just like burying this money. Like how can we just grow this thing? And we stopped worrying about like
take less risks, and then you just lose.
Entrepreneurs that move to Dubai end up spending the same amount in tax as they would have spent on tax, but on their lifestyle. Like I know this sounds fucking ridiculous. I would rather pay the government money than my ego money. Because me buying a Lamborghini is more damaging than paying 200K in tax. If you really think about it.